Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. My name is Martin Couturier. I am a director of artificial intelligence innovation at Saige Consulting. Prior to this role, I spent some time in San Francisco Bay Area at a handful of different fintech and big tech companies with a background in artificial intelligence and data. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Marla Dans, who is the head of data management and governance. Welcome, Marla.
Thank you, Martin. It's great to be here.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Marla?
Sure. So I'm a 10-year veteran in Chief Data Office, starting at JP Morgan Chase, Chief Data Office. I then transitioned to TradeWeb, which is a fintech company where I built the program from scratch. And then from there went to Chicago Trading. I also spent time consulting for multiple financial services firms and began my career at Morgan Stanley a long time in various IT leadership roles.
Very exciting. Lots of experience there. So I can't wait to pick your brain a little bit. To kick things off, let's just talk a little bit about general data governance concepts. I'm trying to think of someone who is just starting off with their data governance journey. Maybe they're at a company and trying to gain executive buy-in. How might you communicate the importance of data governance to that less technical audience and make sure that you have the buy-in of your stakeholders?
Sure, absolutely. So we've come a long way in the 10 years that I've been working in it. And at this point, we all know the volumes of data are growing exponentially, and everyone wants insights, whether it's corporations looking to grow revenue and reduce risks, or individuals using ChatGPT to make their social media posts more exciting. Data democratization is on steroids right now, and humans can no longer deal with all the data. We need AI. So to answer your question in its simplest form, data governance refers to the overall management of data in an organization. We define rules and best practices that ensure data is reliable, accurate, and available, and establishes accountability and ownership for the data. So in order to get the most out of our data, there are really three components of data governance that I like to say. Data needs to be known, owned, and honed. I used this at a conference, and it went over very well. So known, meaning transparency into the data. What is this data? How is it defined? Where is it sourced from? Where is it used? What are the dependencies? Owned, meaning accountability. Who's responsible for this data? Who created it and who maintains it? Who needs it? How critical is it? All of that. And then honed, which is all about improving data quality. You can think about data as like a diamond in the rough. You have to cut and polish a gemstone before it's set into a timepiece or a piece of jewelry. Data also needs to be wrangled, cleansed, normalized, enriched, and to transform it into something that's usable for business insights. So this is really the foundational functions for any chief data office. And when your critical data sets are governed and certified, then you can confidently say your data is AI ready.
Awesome. There's a lot there, like so much to unpack. And so, if I want to continue to focus on that point of somebody just getting started, knowing, owning, and honing, there's a lot of steps to get there. So what would you recommend to someone who is just getting started early on? What should they focus on as one of their first steps? And what might they want to avoid or wait until later to, lean into?
Sure. So what's first and foremost critical for any successful chief data office and data governance program is executive level support. I know it sounds, pretty basic, but you really need that to set the tone for the entire organization. Data management and governance is a team sport, and everyone has a role to contribute. And when your top C-suite level supports it, everyone gets involved. And then you need to align with business priorities to identify those initial quick wins, right? You really need to focus on short-term, low-hanging fruit business problems that can be achieved in a few months and requiring the simplest approach. So you have to identify what is the primary business driver. It's usually either revenue or risk-based. So if it's risk-based, you might look into addressing some MRAs, what can be quickly addressed, and set up KPIs to show those progress. On the revenue side, you look to potentially data quality improvements for data products or key business reports to get those quick wins. Then once you have your quick wins, you definitely want to lay out your 3-year vision. So some of the distractions to avoid, I'd say, is don't get caught up in tooling. IT loves tooling, but tooling alone does not solve business problems. There's nothing more frustrating than a successful tooling pilot with no follow-up, and that doesn't generate business value. So don't let tooling distract you from the business wins. Focus on initiatives that scale.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And, when I think of my own experience trying to set up a data governance function, you're totally right in how this is a team sport. Like you have to bring everyone from, not everyone, but lots of stakeholders from across the organization to the table to figure out what are those business priorities. So I'm curious in your experience, are there any recommendations for how you might structure your organization or your data governance function to make it successful?
Sure. So a foundational data governance program will cover, as I said before, transparency and ownership, which is generally covered by catalogs and data stewards. Again, top-down support for data stewards across the organization. End-to-end data quality program is a focus and very different than a catalog. So it's almost two different skill sets you need there. Policy and policies for regulatory requirements cover all of it. Data protection, access control, you want to partner with InfoSec to really cover on all of those. And data products as well are often found in data governance programs, right? You used to call it data mesh was a hot topic for a while, and that's all around data products. So aligning those data products with the business objectives. And then often MDM is also in there, master data management, whether it's client data, reference data, external data, all of that can come under the data governance umbrella. A lot of this is covered in my new book that I published on data analytics and digital transformation by Routledge back in December. So I wanted to just get that plug in there.
Congratulations. That's the first
Thank
I've heard
you.
of that. So I'll have to check that out.
Okay.
Great. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit and get back to one of the things you said at the beginning about becoming AI ready. And so, a lot of companies are being asked to really enhance or maybe just begin their AI journey. They want to introduce AI into their products, their services, maybe their internal operations to become more efficient. And you and I know AI is powered by data. So with that in mind, with everything we've talked about so far, the different aspects of data governance you can focus on, the organization, et cetera, what would you say are the key aspects of data governance that are necessary to be responsibly adopting AI at your organization? Are there things that are just total must-haves that if you don't do these, you're missing out?
Yes, Martin. So again, Martin, I am triggering on the word responsible in that AI. So a robust data management and governance program is a must-have for enabling responsible AI. AI governance will leverage all of data governance as well to enable expansion into managing models, model validation, ethics bias, policies, and controls. But first, organizations need to decide which data will be made available to train the models. And top must-haves for responsible AI, in my opinion, include data quality and data privacy and security. So a pristine data quality program is crucial, right, for training AI models to produce accurate results. A data quality program has two main pieces. First, identifying and alerting data quality issues, and the second piece is a robust remediation process. Poor data quality can lead to hallucinations, bias, and just plain erroneous results. And good data quality, on the other hand, supports trustworthy AI. Data privacy and security, I think, is also crucial for responsible AI. First and foremost, you need to adhere to legal and regulatory compliance regulations. This is non-negotiable, right? Preventing the misuse of PII, confidential and sensitive information, requires first understanding what data you have and properly classifying that data, developing policies to clearly define the proper treatment of this data, and then implementing the data protection features aligned to the policies such as encryption and masking, authorization, and access control. I'd also say that data provenance and lineage is also moving from a nice to have to a must have for responsible AI. With the advent of generative AI and LLMs, transparency into data origins, movement and transformation throughout the organization, as well as how the model is generating the result, is critical for trusting that result. And from an operational perspective, it's also essential for debugging and auditing and improving the AI models. Even with ChatGPT, I've seen citations of source websites in some cases that were used for aggregating the response. And this actually gave me a nice level of comfort, kind of knowing where it all came from. And then finally, for ethical use guidelines, well, I think companies are still in early days trying to figure out Gen AI implementation and use cases. They also need to consider ethical guidelines and potential biases. Building policies to clarify these guidelines will actually promote responsible AI and the development of fair and unbiased models. Model developers will know where the boundaries are. So we have data governance, the concept of certification of data sets. Now we need to think about the ethical certification of unbiased models.
Thank you, Marla. This has been super interesting and fun. I feel like I've learned a ton today. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us on this interview. And just to call out to anybody watching to please visit cdomagazine.tech to follow up with any additional interviews. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. Appreciate it. Thank you, CDO.